Alright, no music. Just gonna get right after it. Tell from the title. Yes, going outside of my box today. I'm still gonna do the Oscar top 10 lyrics. But I just watched the Tommy Morrison documentary 30 for 30 on ESPN for the fourth time. And I just gotta talk about it. Alright, quick little backstory here. Became a fan in like the early 80s. I remember watching Hagler and Hearns. What a fight. Remember that? Think about how crazy that was. Two guys, legendary fighters, in their prime, on regular TV on ABC. You know, Al Michaels was doing the broadcast. I have that fight on VHS, by the way. 3 rounds, and you just don't see fights like that anymore. Guys going toe-to-toe. You know, 2 of the best fighters in the world. That never happens anymore. You know, that Golovkin-Canelo fight, what was it, like $70 pay-per-view? And then boxing wonders why it's having a tough time keeping people. Like, it's just, and this is not about that, so I'm not going to get into all that. But no way in hell I'm paying $70 for that fight. That's just me. Anyway, so, you know, I watched Mark Breland a little bit. He was a guy that fought in the Olympics. And the reason that I really liked Mark Breland is because we were just alike. Now, what do I mean by that? We were just, when you say, so you're a skinny black guy? No, skinny white guy. And especially at that time, really skinny. And Mark Breland was really skinny, but he could knock people out. And I love that. That's why I like Thomas Hearns, by the way, too. I loved Hagler, too. Anyway, but, so, I watched him for a while. But then, you know, I got into the heavyweights. It's just natural, right? Even if you weren't a huge puncher as a heavyweight, you're going to knock somebody out. You know, big guys throwing haymakers, there's a chance somebody's going to get fucked up. Yeah, it's exciting. The first heavyweight I really watched a lot, or that, you know, I was excited about seeing, was Larry Holmes. I don't know why. He actually wasn't a big puncher. He was more of a jabber, but that was a good jab. And, you know, he beat Ali. I watched him beat Cooney. And then, of course, Mike Tyson came, right? Holy shit. And, you know, I wasn't a big Mike Tyson fan. I'm not going to lie. No doubt about it. The guys he fought when he was destroying people in his prime, they were already defeated before they entered the ring. And you know what? I don't blame him. I'd be scared shitless too. I seen that crazy bastard coming at me. And it's so interesting when you hear Mike Tyson now. The reason that he fought the way he did was out of fear. Like, holy shit. But anyway, and he just destroyed people before, you know, he went to prison with the rape thing. Another thing real quick, just go read the story about that rape. Once again, that's another thing. I'm not going to get into it with this. You know, I'm just saying, I don't think Mike Tyson got the fairest trial that he could have got. You know, and I remember, I just said I wasn't a huge Tyson fan. I actually like him more now that he's not fighting. I do. You know, you see him he was in The Hangover and interviews and stuff. He's actually kind of funny. But around 88, that's when I first heard the name Tommy Morrison. You know, the next great white hope. Alright? And I want to make it clear, I really don't care about that shit. I don't. Yes, I did cheer for him because it's like, wow, we actually have a white guy that can actually fight. That's kind of cool, you know. Because trust me, there's a lot of white fighters that I couldn't stand, and I can't stand today. One of them being Joe Calzaghe. God, I could not stand him. Anyway, so, and you have to remember too, this was in 88 or so, 89. The only way I found out about fighters was on ESPN. Just ESPN. They didn't have like 23 ESPNs like they do now. And through magazines. No internet. But you better bet your ass I was there. Oh, Tuesday Night Fights also. USA Tuesday Night Fights. Missed that. That was a great show because you got to see a lot of fighters that you wouldn't normally get to see. Anyway, and then you hear about him, and then wow, maybe this guy is a legitimate heavyweight. So the documentary. That's where we'll start. This is where I'll start reviewing. So it starts out. They talk to his mom, and he. And I think she said this, and you know what she did, and it threw me off at first. He wasn't planned, and she kind of said she was pissed off that she had him. And, when I was first watching it, I was like, what? But then she said, I understand what she's saying. He wasn't planned, didn't have a lot of money, pretty stressful to have another kid, but once she looked into his eyes, he's just, obviously she loved him. And this is the first time that they kind of talk about his dad. Now I think he had two brothers, I'm not sure. I should remember that as much as I watched the documentary, but the one brother talked about they all boxed, and fought in the tough man competitions. And their dad, and they don't really paint the greatest picture of the dad in this documentary. The one brother said he went to a dance, okay? And of course he had a date. And his dad was there. Maybe he was a chaperone or something. I don't remember. But this other girl came over, kind of hitting on him to go outside with her. And Tommy Morrison's brother said, no, I'm here with somebody else. His dad then talked to him and said, don't ever pass up a woman that's hitting on you, or I'll kick your ass. So, right off the bat, you're like, wow. So, basically, don't ever pass up a chance of getting laid, or you're an idiot. That's, wow, not real flattering, right? So I think you kind of get so not a lot of money. They're all fighting. And I remember Tommy Morrison quit for a year in high school to work construction to make money. That's how bad it was. And when he was working construction, I believe he was like 15 or 16 years old, and he got into tough man competitions, and they show a couple clips. He's knocking out 25, 30-year-old guys. He's like 15, 16 years old, so right, that's pretty special. This kid can punch. And so eventually, of course, he starts fighting professionally. And this is where we start to see where like all the temptations are coming at him. Okay? He gets in the Rocky V movie, Sylvester Stallone. It's pretty cool because they talk to Sylvester Stallone's brother, and he's the one that kind of discovered him. And, Tommy Morrison wasn't an actor. And they picked him, an actual boxer, to play that part. And, you can go see it on YouTube. There's a bunch of different interviews where Tommy Morrison says, look, it was a unique opportunity. I feel privileged that they picked me to play in that movie. He understands that it was a one chance in a lifetime to get that part. And of course, then you hear, oh, he's not taking boxing seriously, he'd rather be a movie star. And we know boxing, man. Listen, it's a rough fucking sport. Whatever a boxer can do to make money, I'm all for it. And so he's going good here, right? Got a bunch of fights under his belt, professionally. The left hook. I've actually posted a couple videos on the Facebook page about showing his left hook, like one of the best left hooks ever. And then there's a couple clips you'll see too where, in a couple fights, they say, I know Jim Lampley is one of them. He's like, he's still a one-dimensional fighter. He depends on the left hook, and it's the best left hook in boxing or something like that, and the chin thing. Okay, I'm bringing this up. It's really not in the documentary, but I've been kind of getting into it with some guys over the internet the last couple weeks about Tommy Morrison's chin. I know, stupid. Why are you arguing with trolls, scum malicious? Because that's what I fucking do sometimes. I don't know why I do it, but I do. This guy posted a video, and I can't remember his name, but he kind of showed, like, look, take the Ray Mercer knockout, take that one out of there. Okay, Michael Bent, and I'm going to get into that fight here in a little bit. He kept getting back up. Carl the Truth Williams knocked him down twice. He kept getting back up. It's not like the guy didn't have art, alright? If he was overmatched, and he wasn't overmatched too many times when it came to boxing, alright? Other than Ray Mercer, Lennox Lewis, he should have beat Michael Bennett. Anyway, and the way that this guy posted that video showing that, listen, call it a questionable chin, but he doesn't have a glass jaw. I agree. Anyway, just kind of had to get that off my chest. So, the Rocky movie, he's got momentum. Everybody's heard about this. The next great white heavyweight, from Oklahoma. And I think he was fighting out of Kansas City. But, like I said, this is when the temptations outside of the ring were happening. His friend, one of his friends, they talked to 2 or 3 of them in the movie, said everywhere he went, there was women. Everywhere. Okay? And the one friend hinted at, well, I think he was a sexual addict. Actually, it might have been his manager. He was an addict. Well, maybe he was. I hate when some people use that word. It's just like, okay, he was horny, or, some guys can't be faithful to one woman, whatever. Anyway, but I remember, and one of the guys referred to this like, 4 or 5 women in one day. And even though, he would tell people that he had a girlfriend back home, and she knew it. He's like, hey, I knew that he had no problem getting women, but, she stuck with him. But the weigh-in before the Ray Mercer fight, Ray Mercer's trainer and his manager said, hey, he's got a bunch of zits on his back, which is a sign of somebody using steroids. And they told him, listen, you just got to make it through the first 3 or 4 rounds, and which Ray Mercer did. And then you come to find out he had done some steroids. I mean, it's an obvious sign. I've heard that forever, that when you see a guy, muscle-bound guy, and he's got zits all over his back, they're using steroids. But that fight, Tommy was just destroying Ray Mercer. I don't know how Ray Mercer stood up to those punches. Well, and then you find out later on. Listen, I know he got beat by Shannon Briggs. That fight, something's not right there. I hate saying this, but Ray Mercer at 50 is better than Shannon Briggs was at 20. Seriously, I don't know. Just, it looked like a dive. I hate saying that, but anyway. And Ray Mercer even says in the movie, he's like, hey, he hit me harder than I've ever been hit. Ray Mercer fought Lennox Lewis. He fought Evander Holyfield, Burt Cooper. Look, Vladimir Klitschko. I mean, Vladimir Klitschko just pounded him. And it was a TKO. He didn't hit the mat. This guy was as tough as they came. And that's just me. And I also thought it was pretty cool that he said that about him. He gave him respect. But that knockout was brutal. And also noticing this, and they mention it too, the referee was completely out of place. He should have been there. There were 2 or 3 punches that Tommy took that he shouldn't have. I'm not blaming Ray Mercer. That's what boxers do. Alright? You got a guy hurt, you attack. You don't stop. I'm not blaming Ray Mercer, but the referee should have stepped in, because when Tommy was on, falling to his knees, he took 2 or 3 just brutal shots. Most brutal knockout I've ever watched. There's the guy that I love, my fighter, getting absolutely destroyed. I'm telling everybody about him. You gotta watch this guy. Oh, he's just another white dope, gonna get his ass kicked. Oh, bullshit, he's different. And then, but hey, like I said, Ray Mercer was a beast. So he does come back from that, right? And I think everybody remembers this. He fights George Foreman, and that was one, to me, that was definitely his best fight. He actually boxed, I believe, for 12 rounds. And, he won the decision, and he deserved the decision. I know, George Foreman, way past his prime. But, hey, George Foreman, knocked out Michael Moore. I get it. Michael Moore, not the greatest heavyweight of all time, but he was a champion at some point. Anyway, I'm excited. Yeah. Tommy's back. By the way, another fight, before I forget. And if you get a chance, you have to go watch it. Tommy Morrison versus Razor Ruddock. I'm telling you, he lands a left hook, and I thought Razor Ruddock died. Seriously, he lands that left hook, and bloop, he just immediately just hits the mat, and he gets back up. I'm like, holy shit. And it's funny, the guy that's doing the broadcasting, Bert Sugar is one guy, and I don't know who the main guy is. He's like, oh shit, holy Christ. How the hell did he get back up? It's just funny. I love that. It's like, fuck it, no holds barred, I'll say whatever I want. Great fight though. So Tommy, WBO champion. And that's another reason why boxing is so fucking confusing. You get there's 4 different organizations. Well, who is he? Oh, he's the WBC champion. He's the WBA. Anyway, so Tommy Morrison, WBO champion, and then he fights Michael Bent. You know, he's got the home crowd behind him, and I can't remember who he was supposed to fight, but there was a big gap, like a year, and somebody said, hey, we got to keep him busy, because if we don't, he won't stay focused. And they talk about that every other night, having to go to a bar in Kansas City because they call and say, hey, you got to come and get Tommy. He's passed out on the floor drunk. You know, he just couldn't be alone. And they show it like everywhere he went, he'd bring all of his friends and he'd pay for everything. That's just who he was. And the one friend said, it's so crazy because the night before, he goes, he's going to fight Michael Bent the next day. That night, they're at a concert and Tommy's drinking beer, just getting smashed. The night before a fight. And I'll never forget it. It was actually me and the Buckster. We watched it in Davenport. And Michael Bent, we all seen that. Michael Bent was not a better fighter than Tommy Morrison. Tommy Morrison wasn't prepared for that fight. And it's sad when I hear all the stories. And this is another kind of unique thing. It's not in the movie, but I want to bring it up. After Tommy, my favorite heavyweight fighter is Vitali Klitschko. Yes, the Klitschko brothers. By the way, I want to make it very clear. I like Vladimir, but Vitali was my guy. In fact, I liked him so much that I named my son after him. I know, crazy. It's like, wow, is your kid Russian? No, he's American. But I named him after a cool fucker. That's how I roll. Anyway, so Michael Bent beats Tommy Morrison, unfortunately. And then Michael Bent's next fight, Herbie Hyde. Okay? And I don't know if anybody remembers this. Herbie Hyde destroyed Michael Bent. Michael Bent never fought again, I think, after that fight. Like, something happened, and it wasn't good. But he did destroy him. Vitali Klitschko then fought Herbie Hyde and got the same belt that Tommy Morrison had. When I think about that, it's so crazy. You know, Tommy Morrison versus Vitali Klitschko, I'm glad it never happened. I never would want to see that fight. My two favorite fighters fighting each other, I'm glad that never happened. Anyway, so that fight, a fight that he probably should have never taken. I understand why they scheduled it, kind of to keep him out of trouble. But then they go and they talk about, like, you know, just outside of the ring, he could not say no. You know, Joe Hip, another guy that he fought, too, is like, he was a great fighter, you know. He's like, well, I thought he was really good. And when you hear that, that's why it's such a sad story of all the potential that he had, and you know, he just couldn't say no. I mean, that's the bottom line with it. So what happens finally is that he knows for an upcoming fight he won't take the blood test. You have to take a blood test before every, you know, sanctioned fight. And then he does take it. The manager's like, hey, he's HIV positive. And the last 20, 25 minutes, it's so tough for me to watch. Not kidding. But the manager said, I'll never forget, you know. I walked into the room and I said, hey, Tommy, you're HIV positive. And he said, he looked at me and he said, I don't know what to do. What do I do now? And he was like, I didn't have an answer for him. And he's like, this guy that everybody wanted to be around, all the women loved, and everybody wanted to party with, like, because he was like a rock star. Everybody's gone, you know? And it just kind of sets in, and it's like, Tommy, you know? And it also mentions the two women, all right? And he had a son with each one. He was with them both at the same time, you know? That just adds to the drama of the story. And I know, I get it, and I've been fighting with people about it. This is what I hate. And, you know, I did a podcast last week about Decapitated, the band that, you know, is getting charged with rape. We don't know the whole story, you know. It's just these fucking people on the internet now. I don't give a fuck. Who cares? Look her. She's a slut. Oh, did they? I don't care if they did or didn't. Who fucking cares? What? Oh, it drives me crazy. I know, it's stupid to fight with trolls. Like that. It's just this, you know, the mind in the gutter mentality. I just don't understand it. And one guy was like, well, he got AIDS, fuck him. That's his own fucking fault. Okay, I get it. He did make some mistakes. And, you know, what would you have done at 22 or 23 years old? And you have to remember this. And you know what? I totally forgot this. He was 27 years old. You've got heavyweight boxers that are fighting into their 40s now. He was 27 years old when he got diagnosed with this. I just kind of forgot about that. But why do you gotta be so fucking mean? Like, I understand that this happened to him was because of decisions he made that weren't that good, but he deserves to have this life end like that. I'm telling you. And this crazy bitch at the end of this, some woman that he met, she convinced him that he didn't have HIV. He got a bug bite. And then, you know, he went to a doctor and he got these, like, breast implants and implants in his arms. And listen, I remember seeing some of the pictures, like, Tommy, you know, they don't look right. It's all fucked up. I mean, look at all these Hollywood celebrities with the plastic surgery. They look like fucking, their faces are made out of fucking plastic. Just real goofy shit, you know? But, like, he probably lived a year and a half longer than he should have. He was in a lot of pain. They show some of the pictures, and I know you've seen some of the pictures on the internet. Horrible. And I'm telling you, I don't fucking care. People can laugh at me all they want. I cried. I did. You know, I never met the guy, but there's only 3 fights I don't have on VHS. And I gotta look back and see who they were. I don't care. He didn't deserve to die like that, you know? And even, like, the fight with Lennox Lewis, where he was just overmatched. I mean, fuck. You know, Tommy Morrison was a fairly big guy, and he looked small in the ring fighting Lennox Lewis. He did. But I hadn't given up hope. I'm like, I don't know, he's still got that left hook. All you need is one punch. You can land one punch, especially in the heavyweight division. You've got a shot. And I don't know. I just want people to watch it so that they can get the full story and just kind of realize, yeah, he made some really bad decisions, and it is a sad story of somebody who had everything and just lost it over some stupid decision. But I'm sure as hell not gonna fucking stand here and act like some perfect person, okay? You know? And I was saying it before. 22, 23 years old, you're a rock star, everybody wants you. Alright? You got all kinds of women hitting on you. You know, because this is what I was telling these other guys. Oh, trust me. Oh, really? You would say no to every woman? You know, 21, 20-year-old women, blonde, brunettes, who knows, every color you could imagine, hitting on you, boobies popping out. Nah, I'm fine. Okay, that's what you say. Anyway, that's why. And they mentioned them a little bit, the two sons, Kenzie Witt and Trey Morrison. They have different moms, they're half brothers. They're both heavyweights. I'm telling you, Kenzie, wow. Like, when you see him fight, he looks like his dad. Exactly. Right? And then Trey there's certain pictures you see, he looks just like him too. Now, I've seen both of them fight. I know, I'm from everything I've heard, they got the same power that their dad does. I've seen it with Trey. I watched him on Showtime a couple times. His last fight with Ed Lattimore, you know what? He landed some bombs, and he took a couple bombs. I know, it's Ed Lattimore. Like, who the fuck is Ed Lattimore? Doesn't matter. The guy had power, and Trey fought him. I thought he looked good. Yeah, I'm pulling for these kids, you know, and it sounds like they're doing it the right way. They know about all the things, you know, that they've heard with their dad, and yeah, for me personally, I'm happy that they're fighting. You know, I finally have somebody to be excited about now that Vladimir finally retired, which I'm glad he did. His last 3 or 4 years, he just wasn't a fun fighter to watch anymore for me. You know, when Vitali Klitschko retired, I was really bummed out. But these two boys have given me energy again. I'm excited for both of them, and yeah. And in the end, I still love watching his fights. Tommy Morrison, they'll never get old to me, you know. And I do think what could have been, but I'm not going to pounce on a dead man. Some of the pictures are rough to look at, but I don't care. Still a fan, always will be, and, you know, rest in peace. Still my favorite. Alright. Glad I got to do that. Check it out. Seriously. It's well done. I like the way they put it together. As a boxing fan, or just a fan, even if you're not a boxing fan, you'll get something from this documentary. Alright. That's it. My little review, 30 for 30, Tommy Morrison. I'm out.